What's up, guys? I'm gonna be starting off today's video here at Pep Boys. I need to pick up some step 1 colder spark plugs, or just some new spark plugs in general if they don't have 1 step colder NGK Iridium spark plugs here. And the reason I'm doing that is because I've been having a lot more ignition correction in cylinders 1 and 3 than I'd like, and sometimes it jumps to like negative 1.56. So I'm guessing it either has to do with my spark plugs needing to be changed, or the fact that my coil pack isn't doing what it's supposed to, so I need to change that out and go back to my stock coil pack, because I have done some research on it and a lot of people haven't had good results with it, or it doesn't really do anything, because with the new cars nowadays the coil packs are already good enough. So let's get in here and see if we can find it. So I ended up having to go to O'Reilly's to get what I needed, because the Pep Boys down the road from me didn't have the Iridium IX spark plugs for my car, or it was more or less the lady was having trouble finding them on their computer. And also, it literally looks like someone went through the whole store and bought out everything. So like I said, I went to O'Reilly's to go get the spark plugs, and I ended up buying more than I needed. Big surprise. So let's check out what I got. So I ended up getting some more zip ties, because when I do this job I do have to take the intake pipe off again to get to the last coil pack, and I don't have my grinder at the moment. It's still at my job, which I go back to tomorrow, so I'll be able to bring some tools home to get it done. So in case I have to break the zip ties and take the pipe off completely, I bought some bigger ones. And who doesn't need to have a stockpile of zip ties, because they come in real big handy when you're working on a car. So next thing, like I said, I got the Iridium IX spark plugs. I can't wait to get those in. I am really hoping that it helps to fix the problem. And I also got an 8-inch extension, because I don't have one of those and I felt like I needed it. So if you look right here, you can see the ignition correction in cylinder 1 and 3, that there's a little bit of a negative correction on it, which means it pulled timing because it heard too much knock. So that's, with that little amount, it's really not that big of a deal, especially since it was just driving around town and not under wide open throttle. And you know, it really matters when you're under wide open throttle, but sometimes when I'm just driving around town, it'll get to like negative 1.58 or negative 2.00, and it kind of worries me a little bit. And you know, with the research I've done, I know it shouldn't worry me as much as it does, but I still want to change the spark plugs out, because I'm almost at 30,000 anyways, and that's technically when you're supposed to do it. And then I'm gonna go back to my stock coil packs and see if that makes any difference. And if it does, I'm gonna keep it that way, and then just keep my MSD coils that I have for it for later on down the road when I have more of the build complete. So I'm finally about to do my spark plugs on my car. It's been a couple days now, but I got called back into work and I had to start that and get back into the groove a little bit. So I've been really tired after I got off work. So I'm about to do the spark plugs today, and hopefully it'll take care of the little issue that I am having with my ignition correction. Now, I did talk to one of the mechanics at my shop where I work, and he said seeing single digit ignition correction isn't bad per se. So he said when you see double digits, that's when you need to worry about it. But I'm almost at 30,000 miles anyways, so I might as well change the spark plugs and go 1 step colder, and then I don't have to worry about it for another 30,000 miles. So let's get to it. So I got the first 3 coils out with no problem, and I was thinking that maybe I was going to be able to get a wrench under my intake pipe and get that bolt off, but I was sorely wrong. So what I'm going to have to do is see if I can get an 8mm open-end wrench, or I'm gonna have to take off the intake pipe, which I really don't want to do. I mean, it shouldn't be too big of a pain in the ass, but again, you know, it's still gonna take me a little bit longer to do this if I have to do that, which I'm not too worried about, but I just feel like if I can get it done without doing it, why not? So I found the 8mm after looking some more, and I was able to get that bolt off. So now I'm gonna get back to it. So I got it all done now. I did decide to keep the MSD coil pack in there. I just want to see if the new spark plugs will help at all. And again, like I said earlier in the video, that having a single digit ignition correction isn't too bad. It's only bad when you see it in the doubles. So let's take a look at the old spark plugs real quick and see how they look. Alright. So they don't look bad at all. They don't look like completely fouled out at all, and they all look pretty evenly worn out. So that's a good sign. That means I wasn't running too rich in any of my cylinders. So I'm gonna start the car here and hoping I'm hoping that everything went good. There's no issues with the gap I put on them. And to let you guys know, the gap I did put on it was a 0.26, which is recommended. I think you can go down to like 0.25 or 0.24, I believe, and as high as 0.28. Don't quote me on that, but I'm gonna start her up here and let's see if she fires up and runs good. And yeah. All right, moment of truth. Alright, running perfect, thank God. Man, I am so happy that everything worked out. I don't have to take the spark plugs out again. She started up great, she's running smooth. I don't see any bad ignition corrections off the start. I'll have to take her for a drive here in a second and see what I get once the car warms up and everything. Be back with you in a minute. So I just got back from my test drive, and I gotta say it went great. I didn't see any crazy negative ignition corrections in either cylinders 1 or 3, and those are the only two I monitor because those two get the hottest. And the only negative ignition correction I did see, and it was a little one, it was negative 0.35. It was in cylinder 3. Now I gotta wait till I go on a longer drive to see exactly what I'm gonna get, and hopefully I won't see anything crazy like -5 again, because I did see that one time and it really did scare me, and I thought something was gonna go bad in my engine. But if anything, it helped a lot more putting these new spark plugs in. They are 1-step colder spark plugs, and I think putting them at a 0.26 gap was perfect. Now I did check the gap on the stock spark plugs, and it ended up being a 0.63 millimeter gap, which I find really crazy. I would have thought. So I'm back at home now, guys, and I went on a lot longer of a drive, and I didn't get any crazy ignition corrections. So that means putting in the new spark plugs and maybe gapping it a little bit tighter definitely helped. And since I didn't see anything above -0.50 on my ignition corrections, I'm definitely going to keep the MSD blaster coil packs in, just because, you know, I paid decent money for them. I mean, yeah, they weren't too expensive, but they were still cost enough to where I want to keep them in the car if I can. So that's about it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Please smash that subscribe button and hit that like button as well. I hope you all have a nice day. Peace.